again. Been a little while since I have been on the air and YouTubing. I haven't been doing it as much as I've done in the recent past, but I want to get back into it, especially for instructional or introductory purposes like I want to do right now. And I'm really happy with this new creation that the good Lord has enabled me to make, and I call it, it is a bow, I call it the Viper bow. Very good name for it, as you can see right here. The head carved, it's all carved and then painted with enamel, and it's about long bow, traditional long bow long. It's just a little bit shorter than I stand, about 5 foot 11 and a half inches it is. And anyway, this particular representation is of an actual pit viper, or snake of the member of the pit viper family, called the Fer-de-Lance, which is a native of Central and some parts of South America, all in the rainforest area. I was stationed during my army time. I was stationed in that part of the world for a while, and I had a close call, a close encounter with one of these deadly vipers. And I say deadly because it has the reputation. It's neurotoxin. The bite is neurotoxin, and it can kill a person in less than 30 minutes if he or she does not get proper medical help or get the antivenom that's needed. And I did have a close encounter with one. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but I just decided that I was going to do everything I could for the rest of the time I was there to try to stay as clear as I could from one of these deadly snakes, because they can get about this long, believe it or not. And I call it the Viper bow. Now, what I like to do at this point is just give a demonstration of how it's strung. What I usually do is I take on the lead end, or the business end, the head, the striking end, I call it, and run the loop of my string at that point, and then come down and then bring it under this knock. They're called knocks that hold the string in with loops around the knock. And then I usually use the bowstringer, but this time for this purpose I'm just going to go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way and knee it. As you can see, I got my knee down there on the very down toward the bottom, toward the shooter's handle end, and then start putting pressure, as you can see, until it reaches the business end knock around the neck. It's ready to shoot. Of course, I'm not going to shoot it in here. I think I have no doubt in my mind that the beautiful lady to whom I've been married for a little over 44 years would have a very sharp disagreement with me in a hurry if I were to shoot an arrow inside the house, but even though it's tempting. Anyway, pulling it back, it has what I estimate to be about a 45 to 50 pound draw, and it's heavy. It's heavy. Ah, yes. And I don't have the arrow with it, but I've tested it, field tested it several times, and I'm very, very happy with the results. It can sling a bow. It can sling an arrow. That striking in can really just send that. I saw that arrow just go completely almost out of sight. It can go certainly clear across and clear a football field, which is 100 yards, and I even counted anywhere from almost 150 to 170 yards before it finally made landfall, the arrow. But I don't just want to I guess I'm just sort of bragging about this thing, bragging about its power and everything. It's made out of gum from a gum tree, the limb of a gum tree, and gum is a very tough wood, very resilient, and it's also very tightly grained. It has a grain that's very fine and very It's not like oak. It has grains that are further apart. And I've got some bows that I've made from oak, and they do fine. But as far as making like a takedown type bow or a crossbow limb, uh, prod they call it, with oak, I've had some bad run-ins. I've had them to snap like toothpicks. So I'd like to be able to find more of this kind of a wood if I'm going to continue using wood, you know. And I'm a traditionalist. I'm sorry for you guys out there who like the modern stuff. The compound bow, that's be my guess. That's your call. But me, I love the traditional. They call it traditional archery, from way back, from all the way back to the days of Bible times, even before they went over as far back as when the bow started being used, all the way into medieval times, the Crusades, and this and that, and of course the Native Americans who used a certain kind of wood to make their bows. But anyway, this is the Viper bow. I call it the Viper bow, and it's a good name for it, and it shoots like a viper. And by the way, for you guys who love archery or are thinking about taking up archery, you saw that I'm dry pull a little back. But let me tell you what you don't want to do. Don't ever dry fire or dry release a bow. It can mess up the limb in a heartbeat. Always make sure you have an arrow already ready to shoot. Do not pull it back without an arrow and let go, because it creates incredible additional shock to the woodwork. And I would strongly give the strongest warning not to ever try dry firing a bow. Anyway, that's about it.